Okay, we're ready when you are. Thank you.
Okay, this is our consulting team, Mastering Efficiency, Challenging Operations for Colton Northern, a company who produces toilet paper, specifically their 2-ply Ultra Soft and Strong and their 3-ply Ultra Plush, which was recently introduced in the market 4 years ago. Both products get rave reviews besides the fact that sometimes they don't properly dissolve. Currently, there is plants in Oregon, Wisconsin, and Arkansas. The Oregon and Wisconsin plants produce Soft and Strong, while Arkansas is the only plant to produce Plush right now. Okay. In 2014, they saw an increased demand for Plush, and the Colton Northern wants to increase their production to meet the increasing demand. The increasing demand is much more prominent towards the West Coast, but right now Arkansas can only make a limited supply. And they originally chose the Arkansas location because of its central location and the proximity to consumers. However, right now that situation is no longer practical. And in order for Colton Northern to efficiently produce Ultra Plush, they must expand the production capacity, and that will lead to having to move around the management positions.
The machine for the collector is here. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. There you go.
We'll go into a little more depth as to the numbers behind our solution, but to give you an idea of what our solution is, first we're going to expand the Arkansas plant, and we're going to expand that to be equivalent to the production capacity of the Oregon plant. So that's increasing production from about 900 cases of tissue per year to 1.2 million cases of tissue per year. After that, we're actually going to switch the plant. Instead of producing Plush, we'll be producing Ultra Strong at the Arkansas plant, and we'll switch the Oregon plant to be producing Soft and Strong, or sorry, Plush instead of Soft and Strong. A look at the timeline associated with this. This is an 11-month plan. So first, we'll expand the Arkansas plant. That will be a 9-month process. And secondly, we'll overproduce at the Arkansas plant for 3 months. So our goal is, because we have an increased capacity at that plant to produce Plush after the expansion, we can overproduce in order to minimize the effect of the switching at our other 2 plants. So then a 40-day process is both switching the Arkansas plant and then after that switching the Oregon plant. Here's the cost associated with all of those switch ups. There is about a $200 million association in capital loss into capital investment in order to make those changes. And then there's also some product loss associated, but that should be, that's estimated to be under $120,000 of product loss.
When Colton Northern presented us with their problem, our first step was to map out the projections for the demand from present day until 2020 for both Soft and Strong and Ultra Plush across the 4 regions. There's a few key points we would like to hit. First of all, as you can see with the projection for the demand of Soft and Strong, the South by far has the greatest demand for Soft and Strong, while the West, and we have an Oregon plant which is currently producing Soft and Strong there, by far has the lowest demand in cases per year. But as you'll see on the next slide, the demand for Plush in the West is by far greater than any other region. So we feel, in terms of shipping costs, the most effective solution is to produce Plush in the West and move the production of Soft and Strong to Arkansas in the South.
Again, one of our largest costs associated with production is actually shipping costs to the consumer. So proximity is a major component of our whole system. So this is profit by region per year. If we look at the Arkansas plant, and I want to focus your attention specifically on the western coast. So currently, if we're making $101.6 million off of Plush per year in the western coast. Now, if we go ahead and we switch our production to Oregon, we'll be making $130.9 million in that region. And so we'll see a $20 million increase in profit just on the western coast. Now, we'll see the same thing if we go back to Arkansas and our other regions that are altogether switching from our Arkansas plant to produce Soft and Strong instead of Plush. will be making more money over the year, and Christian will go through some of those numbers here in a moment. And then finally, our Wisconsin plant is our ideal location really for every region. However, because of its current volume, we just cannot switch it to be producing plush because of the fact that we're already meeting our, that we already have a failure to meet our demand of the soft and strong brand.
So this graph on top is or this table on top, I should say, is basically just what he said, but just all the data that we had. And so, like he said, for Wisconsin Ultra Plush in the Midwest, that was one of the highest net incomes, and this actually isn't net income. We only had direct materials and production costs, so that'd be your prime costs. But so it's our net income minus that, and so that's the highest amount of money that we could make there. If you go down to the bottom table, this is our profit per roll, and this was also along with the demand in the West. This was one of our deciding factors on where we should produce plush, because as you'll see in the West Coast Oregon Ultra Plush, our profit per roll is 31 cents, and that's way higher than all the other ones. And so if we sell Ultra Plush there, then we have the potential to make a lot more money than producing it anywhere else, and that'd be the most efficient, along with keeping the Wisconsin plant producing the soft and strong because of their production needs and demand already.
And then in order to effectively make these changes, we recommend a couple changes in terms of management. First, we recommend that Ingalls be moved from Wisconsin to the Oregon plant because this individual's experience with both of the products as well as understanding the supply and demand will help us to more efficiently and effectively transition into producing plush at the Oregon plant. And then secondly, we recommend that Jones be moved from Oregon to Wisconsin plant because in the status quo with our plans to change Oregon to plush, that will result in conflicting interests with Jones' interests, and therefore by allowing Jones to move to the Wisconsin plant, he can run the plant how he originally operated in the Oregon plant originally. And then thirdly, we recommend that Grains remain where she is in order to establish her position further and potentially get help from higher management in order to transition into that soft and strong production. And then in terms of marketing, we just simply recommend not only meeting the demand, the current demand, but also maximizing demand further for Ultra Plush. And therefore, we just believe that externally there should be some changes in terms of trying to address the marketing of each product further by region. Overall, as you can see, our long-term outcome will be the most efficient and profitable. Although it may seem pretty costly in the short term, we think that our solution is the best possible option for Quilted Northern.
We'd like to answer any questions you might have about our solution and some of the management switch-ups that will be taking place.
I have two questions. First of all, just a point of clarification on the maps. Was that showing, assuming that product was made, what the profitability would be? I just want to make sure I'm following.
It was kind of dim, but there's a red dot where the producer of plush would be.
Okay.
So it's up in Oregon there.
Okay.
And then, so this is just if plush is produced in Oregon, then this is the profit per region that we discovered.
Yeah, or sorry, the blue will be the plush, the profit for plush, and the orange will be the profit for soft and strong.
Okay, so if Oregon was dedicated to plush.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then that assumes that the others would be soft and strong.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Just want to make sure.
Or I think we're on the same page, but to clarify one more time.
Okay.
So this is if the Oregon plant was producing plush, then this is the profit in each of those regions based off of the demand in each of those regions for plush.
Okay.
Same thing for soft and strong. If Oregon was to be producing soft and strong, this is the profit per region based off of how much demand for soft and strong there is.
Okay, got it. The other thing I wanted to ask about is the fact that everything kind of maps to, and get that I like the slide of the profitability, and you see that bump. That's really the only difference by roll. The only real difference you really see that pops is that 31 cents, right? So that's, you can see where the shipping cost really comes into play there. That's assuming that our demand is going to stay on the West Coast. And then you kind of talk in the end about kind of pushing marketing to other regions. So what if your marketing works? And then we're going to start shipping stuff, because the East Coast is another area that's seeing some bump. Isn't that going to change that dynamic?
So essentially what we're saying is, with our projections for the demand, what we're saying is, in those areas, if we increase the marketing of the products that currently have high demand, and we're trying to increase, not currently have high demand, but that's continuing to have demand, we like to market those products specifically in those regions, so the demand goes further in those regions themselves.
Okay, so you're thinking of focusing the marketing, for example, specifically in the West, so you're not going to focus it on the underdeveloped areas.
So what we're saying is, by switching this plant, we can focus on not only meeting the underdeveloped areas because we're switching, but also meeting what's already in demand. So it'll help us do both by switching these plants and marketing in those areas.
Okay, and the only thing I'm saying is that's going to do greater profitability than if we have to ship back over to the East Coast.
Correct. And the one thing I would take a look at is, first of all, if you look at demand is decreasing in the South, while at the same time, if you flip back to the last, demand for soft and strong is greatly increasing in the South. So while we want to increase our marketing goals across the entire nation, if demand for soft and strong is increasing in the South, I believe that it would be best to continue marketing soft and strong in that region.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.